My name is Avaah, also known as Jordan Blasherdis. That is my birth name. And this channel is all about integrating and reintegrating integration work through the 4 body systems: mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical. So a lot of the videos that I've posted in the recent past have been updates on crises that I've been navigating, and I'm still in a lot of these challenges. And today, the intention of the video is to speak on the place that I've been in for quite some time and navigating, and also a topic that I feel a lot of people are moving through is the experience of overwhelm. And so yeah, I was very called to post on this today. So reflecting on where overwhelm has come into my life intermittently and consistently throughout the spiritual journey. It was in 2016 I came across a post by Mastin Kipp, who is the creator of The Daily Love. He's written books and he is a coach on overcoming a lot of barriers and self-help. He's in the personal growth industry. And he made a post about the spiritual lesson of overwhelm. And he really went into the state of overwhelm just means that you're in a state of growth, and how to manage some of the nervous system responses, and how to really latch on to faith in the process of overwhelm. So in reflecting on that today, my intention is to build a little structure around overwhelm. And if you want a term spiritual lesson of overwhelm, we can go there too. I did take that from Mastin Kipp's introduction to this, and want to share a little bit about my own experience of overwhelm. So in the fall of 2020, there were some larger impacts that happened for me spiritually, and it changed the course of my trajectory and also introduced some very challenging shadow work and lessons. And since that time, I have been in a perpetual state of overwhelm. There has been like many ebbs and flows of energy and just the way the daily cycles of life turn. There are moments there are breaks, there are periods of rest. Thank goodness, because some of these levels of intensity have really flattened me, and there is a lot of substance and a lot of giving I hope to achieve traveling along these more turbulent lessons. So in bringing back the structure for today, I really want to look at the experience of overwhelm, and if you are in that experience of overwhelm, how you're receiving and how you're grounding and stabilizing yourself in the experience of overwhelm. So overwhelm is something that can be happening just in event by event, very circumstantial, or it can be a state that you're in for a longer period of time. In my case, it's been since the fall of 2020, and there's larger impacts on a spiritual level for me in maintaining balance in that state of overwhelm. So we are in a human experience, and we're in a very physical human body, and with that is a nervous system. And if you've tuned into some of my other videos, I go into various aspects of integrative health, some of which I've touched on the physical. And today I really want to bridge the physical and the spiritual experience in overwhelm. And in reflecting on the excerpt I read, or the posting I read on overwhelm that Mastin Kipp made, he referenced the stages of the nervous system that go into, there's 4: fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. And what happens when you're in the state of overwhelm is your body, your physical body kicks in, and your nervous system kicks in with recorded responses, which can be fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And the the goal or the direction to take is to train the mind to then train the nervous system to be able to move through overwhelm. And how does one do this? So in my personal experience, and I reference this a lot in my work, is the connection to the natural world and taking a walk outside, spending time in the peace of nature when nature is peaceful, because nature exhibits all different responses. The environment is a vast space of information, and so we do have things like hurricanes, we do have very violent storms, we have things that exhibit in nature that are very chaotic. And what I'm suggesting is, when nature is in a more peaceful, harmonious state, in the rhythms, in the natural rhythms and the universal rhythms of the larger experience that we're all in, to really sit and connect to that natural place that allows our body to then reset as well. And this has been a great tool for me in the different stages of overwhelm that I've experienced in the last year and a half, and bringing the body and the nervous system to a place of peace and calm and rest. And I feel to expand on what overwhelm could indicate for you. So there are various hermetic laws. One of the hermetic laws of the universe is mentalism, and it indicates that everything is mind. And so when I think of overwhelm, the mind does attach a concept or an idea to overwhelm, being that the mind is active and it's trying to figure out a larger problem that it cannot solve, and it causes a state. So I feel in this state, and it's referenced in a lot of different ways, of mental chatter, the monkey mind, the self, as opposed to the non-self, which is going into maybe just the energy and a very egoless state. And then you have the attachment to the self that is personality based and is attaching meaning to things and can't let go. Different stages and states of overwhelm happen when the mind is in something that it cannot solve. There are gaps in understanding. And we as humans do have our minds to master. And a lot of this state is mastered through faith. A belief in something that is orchestrating all of this for us. There's different connections to this universal energy, source, God, creator, and that there's different levels of trust in this experience. And so when it's overwhelming for the human, there are different places to rest in our understanding of how source, the universal intelligence, is guiding our journey. And really to latch on to a very personal, intimate experience of that faith, to carry yourself through this larger problem that you cannot solve. And some of what I've experienced on this, and a lot of actually what I've experienced along this pathway of faith, is a complete surrendering of the self, which was both done by choice, in that I wanted that relationship with trust to be very solid, and some of which was something that I felt the universal, whatever the universe was orchestrated, the creator was orchestrating, was pushing me to these edges of egoless selfless experience that there's a boundlessness about it. And it's the best way I could describe this is the complete shedding of identity. And so that in and of itself is overwhelming, because entering into that kind of void when you are a human in a human body, and in an experience where you're taking care of the self in different ways throughout the day, the weeks, the months, the years, and then to let go of all of that is similar to the experience, and is the experience of death. And so how do you manage this overwhelm, right? And my experience of managing it, the best tool that I have been able to use and apply is my connection to the natural world and a more organic experience of the body, which means that I'm actually just taking care of the very basic, simple needs of the body. So when the nervous system goes into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, there's a nurturer that comes online for me that really inhabits the space of slowness, of intentionality, of peace, and nurtures the panic, the paranoia, and the other results of the mind not knowing how to solve a problem and attaching to different things that it's trying to fill those gaps. It's like in a state of desperation because it's pushed to the limits. And overwhelm is like that. And so ultimately there is growth that is happening, growth that one may not be able to see. And so it's an ungrounded place, and reminding ourselves that we can get back to our physical body and very just simply take care of it. Use certain tools like tuning into the natural worlds to help us get into a rhythm that is supported by the universe, that is held within these natural laws of the universe, can help us when we wake up, or perhaps when we're in a larger growth process and it's causing our mind to not be able to let go of things. And it may be causing different states of death that are happening within us. Death of our self, death of different, ego fragments, different ego experiences. Perhaps, death of old ways of being. And this is all very challenging. So in my personal experience of overwhelm, I have been pushed to these edges of a very real experience of death. And today's topic, I won't get into that as much. I just wanted to speak on what can be done in terms of the physical body, the mind, and what's happening in our larger picture of things, in our larger universal experience when it comes to overwhelm. And in the state of worldly affairs, there is a lot of turbulence. So it's quite likely that overwhelm is affecting you to some extent. And what is it that you can do in this larger relationship of both a worldview, we can touch on that very briefly, and just what is it within your reach that you can work on? I like to call this tiny victories. And I feel that when the mind gets attached to a larger problem that it hasn't solved yet, it's good to bring it down and break it down into smaller things that you can focus on and have those be tiny victories. If there's a larger growth process that is very challenging. So thanks for tuning in today. I hope this is helpful. If anyone is faced with overwhelm, what things can help in creating balance, structure, stability in that. And may you have all of these wonderful tools available in this upcoming year. And I really, from my heart to yours, wish that for everyone. So thanks for tuning in. This is the Essence of Avaah. Give me a like and leave any comments or any questions that you may have, and have a great day. Thanks so much.